Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Joanne. So again, thank you very much. Welcome to our today's webinar. I will speak about the topic on the status of the Philippine mango industry. And welcome especially to all the universities and colleges that was acknowledged by our host for this afternoon's webinar. So without further ado, I will proceed to my presentation. Ma'am Sual, can I?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. So the Philippine mango industry. So for my outline of presentation, I will speak about the overview and the industry situation of our mango industry, the issues and challenges that the industry faces now, and of course, where do we want to go about the industry outlook, and of course, for the support of the BPI Guimaras on the national roadmap for mango. So it is already knowledge to all that our Philippine mango is very popular. Uh, for it is the third most important crop here in in the Philippines. Third for banana and pineapple. Um, it ranks seventh on export value in 2015, but in 2020 it ranks 10th on our export share in the whole world. Carabao mango as a commercial variety the eight is 80% of the country's mango production. And of course, it provides livelihood to our farmers, almost 2.5 million farmers that are engaged in our mango production. And in 2020, since this is hosted by the Xavier University, Cagayan de Oro, Region 10 is the fifth in terms of volume of production based on the Bureau of Agricultural Statistics, and it produced 53,448 metric tons and ranks 10th in terms of harvested fruits with area of 8,827 hectares. So in our slide, it is presented the Philippine mango production trend for 10 years record. So if you can see in our slide, in 2015 is the peak, in 2014, I mean, is the peak of our production. However, it starts to decline up to 2019. Also, the volume in terms of metric tons. So it is assumed that during this time, crop shifting was already observed all throughout the country. Some of our farmers changed their crop, especially for the new emerging crops being supported by our government, like coffee and cacao, and some of the trees that are being planted to mango was observed that was being cut by the owners, and their crops were being shifted to other commodities. For the number of bearing trees and hectareage, so the same trend was observed since hectareage was lessened. The area harvested was also reduced from 2014 down to 2019. So this may be the cause of the reduction of areas that was being planted to mango in our country. And of course, the same trend was also observed on the number of bearing trees that was being shown in our slide. But then, if you can observe that from 2009 to 2014, there are more areas harvested compared to the number of bearing trees being harvested from 2019 to 2014. And it was reduced. The number of area harvested was reduced compared to our number of bearing trees in 2014 down to 2019. So the decreased areas harvested and the number of bearing trees was being observed in 2015 up to the present. So this is the production and area by region. If you can see from 2018 to 2020, Region 10, which the Xavier University was located in northern Mindanao, it is the uh, it is the 10th in terms of, or the 5th in terms of volume of production. In 2020, which is 53,448 metric tons, and the area harvested is 8,827. If you can see the yield or the average yield in 2019 to 2020, it has an average production of 6 tons, 6 tons per hectare. The same is true with other regions. So number one is region one, which is the Ilocos region, followed by um, the region 7, Central Visayas, in terms of area harvested, and of course, Western Visayas is uh, number 6 in terms of area harvested. Okay, next slide is the percent contribution in the volume of production for 2020. So here in Region 7 and Region 10, it is 7% in terms of its contribution to the national production. But Ilocos region shared 24% out of the production in calendar year 2020. So the variety that being produced is Carabao, which is 80.6% of the variety, followed by Pico, which is 4.22, with 31,251 metric tons harvested. And of course, followed by other varieties such as Indian mango, apple mango, and others. Next slide presents the Farmgate price of our commodity, which is the mango. So if you can see, from 2015 to 2019, there is an erratic price observed on the prices of our mango per month. So it is assumed that is based on the season of our crop. So from January, it has a higher price in 2019, which is 61 pesos on the average. And then it falls on the month of June, which is almost peak of the harvest. And then it actually increases as the months from July to December with an average annual price of 45 pesos per kilo in 2019. But if you can observe that on the year 2017 and 2018, the prices are still high with an average annual price of 48.43 and 47.95 pesos. So in terms of export and import scenario, uh, so for our mango importation from 2017 to 2020, as I have said, these are coming from our neighboring countries, but we are importing processed product in terms of mango dice, mango preserve, and sliced and dehydrated mango because these are being used in our industries like the food chain, especially uh, the Jollibee, which are producing mango pie and other manufacturing that uses processed mango products for their main products. So for our next slide is on the export scenario of our Philippine mango. So if you can see in our slide, there are several forms or several varieties of mango that are being exported to other countries. For 2019, we export apple mango to Korea, Carabao mango to Hong Kong, Korea, Malaysia, Japan, and Singapore, which is 11,367 metric tons. This is the major export product for our mango, the fresh fruits. And then Florida variety goes to Qatar. Indian mango goes to UAE, Qatar, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Sweden. And we have also some varieties like the mango kiss and the Valencia variety which goes to Korea. Alam naman natin na yung Korea really love our mangoes even though the other varieties because wala silang mangga doon sa Korea. And then for the next slide is on the mango global export overview. So kung titingnan natin from 2013 to 2019, medyo increasing po yung global export po natin. But in 2020, it down to 2 billion dollars. I think the reason for this is of course yung pandemic natin because of the logistic problem. Medyo nahihirapan tayo magpalabas ng ating mga mangga because of the pandemic na na-experience natin last year and even today. But this data not only include our mangoes but guavas and also mangosteen. But then majority of these fresh fruits are composed of our mango products that being exported to other countries. So next is on the top export of fresh and dried mango in the world. The top exporters. So number one there is Mexico, and we are on the 10th. That comprise 2.43% of the total exported mango fruits in the world. So Mexico shared 21.67, which amounted to $430.37 million in 2020, followed by Brazil and so on. Philippines ranked 10 with $48.18 million worth exported to other countries. So next is the value chain map. I got this value chain map in Region 6. Maybe this will vary from other regions, but then dito makikita natin yung mga operators and enablers in every segment of our value chain. So from input provision, production, trading, and storage, processing to marketing, makikita natin yung mga main actors dito. So operators for input provisions are the nursery operators, chemical companies, manufacturers, financial institutions, and cooperatives. While in production, of course, we have the operators like the farmers, contractors, and producers, and so on and so forth for the segment of the value chain. Uh, for the enablers, we have identified that the role of the local government units is very important for the input provisions, and of course to production, trading, processing, distribution, and marketing. So these are the enablers. Usually the local government units, the national government agencies, and of course, even the academe plays an important role in this value chain map. And of course, the role of BPI and the DA can be observed here from input production to input provision, I mean, up to production. So the map maybe will vary depending on the locality, but this is the sample that the Region 6 had identified during the crafting of the value chain. So the next slide is on the production flow of our mango produced in the Philippines. So makikita natin na farmer to farmer grower, it will go to assembler or wholesaler, and then the sprayer trader, to wholesaler and processor and retailer, consumer, and will go to domestic market. But then, from assembler to wholesaler, it will still go to procurement agents, and of course to exporters. The same is true with the wholesaler. It will go to the exporter and then importer for the export market. So based on this flow, of course, it will affect also the price of our product or the fresh fruit. So pag mas madami yung segment doon ng flow ng commodity, lalong tumataas po yung price ng mangga po natin. After the time, it will be marketed either domestic or export market. So next slide is the commodity end products. So makikita natin na yung mangga po natin as fresh fruits, it can be marketed for export and local. Pag na-process po siya, it can be processed in different form like dried mangoes, the mango concentrate or puree, or maybe the IQF or the instant quick freeze or the frozen type of our mangoes that are being exported. And of course, mango, our fresh fruits can be also made into other byproducts such as pectin from mango peel and for the flour for our mango kernel. So what are the major issues and concerns that was identified by the National Action Team and the national agencies that made the roadmap of our mango? So number one there is the low yield and the unproductive mango trees in every regions. Makikita natin na medyo declining na po yung productivity ng Carabao mango natin. Next is of course the presence of insect pests and diseases that make havoc to our industry, especially the seaweed fly that attacks are developing fruits, and of course our concern for our mango seed and pulp weevil, or even the mango pulp weevil which is present in Palawan Island. And of course, the presence of the post-harvest diseases that make losses to our crop, especially the anthracnose in the stem and drop. This is being identified as one of the major concern for our industry. And of course, the high cost of inputs that our farmers experience during this time. Medyo mataas na po yung mga presyo ng mga input natin like the commercial fertilizer, the insecticide and fungicides that being used by our farmers today. And of course, the limited access to resources and direct market of our farmers, especially during the time when the peak season comes, no? Pag medyo madami na po yung na-harvest ni farmers, nahihirapan na po yung market na na-observe natin sa field. Okay, so where do we want to go? So as identified by our national roadmap, our government and other private organizations needs to increase our productivity para po masagot natin yung kakulangan especially sa export market natin. And of course, we would like to increase yung farmers' income natin as well as increase the export volume both for our fresh and processed product. And of course, we would like to increase the demand of our variety, which is the Carbo Mango, and of course, increase the consumption for our commodity, which is the mango. Kasi po, based on record, yung average daily consumption po natin, per capita consumption is only 4 kilos per person. So if we will increase this per capita consumption, yung yung excess during peak season or yung market problem natin locally can be addressed already if all our citizens will increase their consumption for our mango fruit. Okay, what are the strategies being identified by our national mango roadmap? So for those strategies that was being identified earlier, so we would like to implement these activities or programs like the pests and disease monitoring and surveillance to increase productivity. We would like to increase the information dissemination, especially for the technologies that were being developed in the commodity, like the IPM or the integrated pest management, the integrated nutrient management, the quality enhancement of the crop or the product, and then the good agricultural practices, the traceability, etc., that being needed in our marketing strategies. And then, of course, we would like to have a massive technology demonstration so that our farmers will adopt the technology, like the tree rejuvenation that was being identified during the conduct of our National Mango Congress in different regions. And of course, the research and development on the variety development, especially the development of the varieties that can withstand abiotic stresses and which can tolerate pests and diseases in the field. So those are our strategies to increase productivity. And then of course, activities that needs to be implemented to increase farmer income is the farm clustering and consolidation of our farmers in every region. We would also have the proper application and utilization of resources, especially the support that the supports that are given by our government agencies to our farmers, like the machineries and other inputs, the planting materials that are given free to our farmers should be properly managed. And then, of course, the subsidy on the farm inputs, and of course, the value addition of our crops. So we will not just depend on selling our fresh fruits, but also we need to process the product to have value addition for it and have higher prices to our commodity and products. And of course, for crop diversification, we can introduce here the intercropping of other crop commodity to our mango orchard, so that we can increase income of our farmers. And then, of course, utilization of byproduct, as I have said earlier. So we can process the product to have a stable shelf life and can have higher prices for our consumers. And then the next strategy is on the increasing of our export. So activities will include product promotion through conduct of trade fairs, exhibits, and trade missions. Especially this is the role of our agriculture and marketing services for or AMAs of our DA. And of course, the benchmarking and market reconnaissance of our farmers and project implementers to adopt good practices from other mango growing areas. And of course, we need also to have the post-harvest and processing equipment and machineries provision to our SMEs, or the small and medium enterprises who would like to engage in processing and other post-harvest practices of our crop. And of course, the commodity-based processing and post-harvest facilities that need to be upgraded in every mango growing regions in our country. So next strategy is to increase consumption. So our identified activities or programs is on the promotion of mango as a healthy produce in coordination with DOH, and of course with the distribution of information and educational flyers, so that we can promote the consumption of our mango, and increase our daily daily consumption of our fresh fruits, and of course the promotion of other varieties of mango in terms of green and processed product, to have an alternative variety to be planted and to produce other than for our Carabao variety. So in earlier slides, you have seen that other varieties like the apple mango or the red varieties are also in demand in other countries like Korea in terms of export market. So what are the interventions identified across the supply chain, from input, production, post-harvest, market, and consumption? So for the input, we need to have planting materials and farm inputs and other equipment subsidy. Uh, we would like also to distribute planting materials for other varieties and new varieties that was being approved by the National Seed Industry Council. And of course, we will promote and massive information for the accreditation and certification of of nurseries to answer the need of good quality planting materials, and of course continue our activities and research and development in terms of planting material production. Next, for the production, we need to have techno demo of the identified technologies for our farmers to adopt. This was already been started by some other regions. And of course, we need to have farm diversification that whenever there is an off-season for our mango production, we have some other crops that can be produced in our areas, like intercropping of short maturing crops during the off-season of our mango production. And of course, we would like to have a massive training on mango production in terms of IRM, the good agricultural practices, and other capability buildings for our producer and mango growers. And of course, we need to have a pest and disease forecasting and quick response whenever there are new emerging pests that will be observed in the field. And of course, we will have a massive or we will intensify the practice accreditation so that institutional buyers can have access for buying mangoes which are GAP accredited or can buy mangoes from GAP accredited farms. And of course, we need to have some insurance, or we will mobilize, or we will increase the insurance and credit program for our mango farmers for of course for to insure their crops against unforeseen problem or weather condition that they can experience in the future. So for post-harvest intervention, we need to have post-harvest facility support, uh, product processing and packaging support for our SMEs. As I have said earlier, we need to have logistic support because especially on the island producing areas, that logistic is really a big problem because whenever we do export, all our product will pass by accredited packing areas or disinfestation facilities like the FTI in Taguig in Metro Manila and one in Davao. So logistic is very important. And of course, byproduct utilization, as I have mentioned earlier, aside from flour and other products, we need to identify other byproducts to our mango. And then, of course, intensify the training of good manufacturing practices in the HACCP, especially for our processor on mango. And for market, we need to promote and increase consumption. As I have said, the average daily consumption is only 4 kilos per person. So we need to increase that so that we will increase also our local buyers. And of course, we need to develop export markets. We need to identify other markets for our fresh mangoes and other byproducts. And of course, we need to have market linkage, especially during peak season of our production, which marketing is a problem for our product. And then, of course, we need to have price monitoring because if you have seen a while ago regarding the price from January to December, during peak season, there baba na talaga yung price ng ating mangga compared when it is harvested during off-season. And then, of course, we need to strengthen the regulatory and enforcement laboratories, especially on compliance for our export market. So we have to capacitize our personnel and strengthen the laboratory equipments of our facilities. I mean, in our laboratories. So with this intervention, we need to again, this intervention across supply chain will probably increase our production by 3% per year as per roadmap, as per Mango roadmap that was being crafted. We will also increase export by 3% per year consumption. So what are the programs of BPI Guimaras to support this Mango roadmap that was being crafted by our national government? So since we are mandated to have production support, research, and some techno promotion as our main mandate here in the center. So one of our activities to support the Mango Roadmap is the production and distribution of quality planting materials, especially the grafted mangoes. So for 2020, we have distributed 19,668 grafted seedlings to 641 beneficiaries across the country. But bulk of our distribution are in Western Visayas since we are located here in Region 6. And then we also uh, we also conduct relevant R&D projects on mango as part of our R&D mandate. Actually, as of now, we are focusing on plant genetic resources of mango. That is why we have developed already several varieties and strains of our Carabao variety and other varieties of mango. We also do the varietal improvement, like the breeding of our mango to have a competitive edge, especially for export market. We have some collaborations with Visayas State University with the leadership of Dr. Tulin, and we have also some collaborative research activities with University of Southern Mindanao under the leadership of Dr. Emma Sales and Dr. Edward Barlaan. These are the improvement of Carabao mango production and fruit quality through quantitative trait loci or the QTL identification for scab and stem and graft resistance by genome-wide association studies or the GWAS. The same study is also collaborated with Dr. Edward Barlaan. So aside from that, we have studies in terms of cultural management like pruning, fertilization, irrigation, and flower induction, and other fruit management for our mango. And then post-harvest handling by determining the fruit maturity of our crop, which is the best time to harvest. And of course, for crop protection, we do survey and pest monitoring. And of course, the biology and pesticide screening for integrated pest management and biological control studies for the crop. We have also some Techno Promotion for the crop. We do information dissemination of the package of technologies to our clienteles, especially our mango growers. We participate in info campaigns and caravans that was or was being conducted by especially by our local government units and the regional office of the Department of Agriculture. And of course, we also develop and distribute IEC materials or packaging technology for production. We also receive OGTs whenever needed by some of the state universities and colleges all throughout the country. And then, of course, we do hands-on training, especially for plant propagation, crop management, and post-harvest handling of the crop. And that's all. And I think I am open now for question if ever you need some clarifications.
Okay, thank you so much po, sir. So now let's proceed na po for our open forum. No, we have several questions po na galing sa ating mga viewers. So, sir, let's go to our first
Yes, po.
question. So somebody po is asking, why do we still need to import processed mangoes?
Actually, if we can see the trend of our production here, in the previous slide that I have presented, not all months we are producing mangoes. So if ever there are high demands, especially for processors and manufacturing, especially the food industries, whenever there is a shortage in our production, they import from other producing countries, especially in Cambodia, like processed product that they need to reprocess here for their manufacturing activities. So not all months we have available mangoes. That is why uh, there is a program that Luzon and Visayas will produce during the month during summer months, while Mindanao will produce during off season, because Mindanao provinces do not experience much typhoons. That is really very risky for our Carabao mango. So if we can plan that Luzon and Visayas will produce mangoes during on season, while Mindanao producer will produce during off season, then we can have mango products or fresh mangoes all year round. So depende po 'yun sa pagplan ng ating mga mango growers, and take note that the price of mangoes during off season is very high. So this is why medyo makakita ng maganda yung magsasaka natin whenever mag-produce sila during off-season ng ating mangga.
I see. Thank you so much for that answer, sir. Okay.
Okay, thank
Po.
you.
Yes po. So I think this is a bit related to the first question, and since we've also mentioned na the price po of mangoes. So ito po, the cost of high quality mangoes here in Cagayan de Oro, example po sa amin ha is 100 pesos and above po. So sometimes if it's really off season, abot lang siya ng mga 150 to 180 po. So the question is, is this the prevailing price? What are the factors that affects the price? So I think one na po yung sinabi niyo about off-season na mango. Are there any other factors po ba?
Yes po. Actually, I have mentioned in my lecture that one of the concern is the high input, because our mango really needs inputs whenever we need to produce it of good quality. So medyo mataas yung prices ng inputs there, especially the fertilizer, the pesticides that are being used by our producer or grower. So that's that's add to the production cost of our mango. That is why whenever the investment of our producer is high, then they will also sell their mangoes at a high price. So medyo ganun lang po yung yung law of demand and supply also add to the costs of our mangoes. So kung medyo kukonti during the time, medyo mataas din ang presyo kasi madami yung consumer. Pag madami yung produce, medyo bumababa din yung presyo dahil medyo marami yung supply. So that's some of the factors that commands the price of our local mangoes.
I see. Okay po. So there are really no several factors pala na nag-a-affect ng price ng ating mga mangoes. So sir,
Okay.
you've mentioned na po about initial investments, about the cost nga of growing mangoes, no. So this third question is a bit related to that po. What is the profit to cost ratio of mangoes, payback period, initial investment or capital?
Okay. So we have estimated the cost of production for a 1 hectare mango orchard. Uh, uh, Especially if you invest from planting up to production, it will take 5 years because before you can realize a produce, because yung medyo bata pa yung mangga, hindi mo pa pwedeng mapabunga po yon. So it will take 5 years. So at 5 years and up, that's the time that your production commence. So medyo malaki yung investment sa mangga. If I am not sure, it will take thousand of pesos. Or ano, kasi wala akong record dito. But then, if you want, you can send an email to us. We will send you the exact computation for establishing a 1 hectare mango orchard and the costs per segment or per production season. But then, whenever, whenever if you start at the production stage, most probably from region 6 we can invest 70 to 120,000 per hectare of mango orchard during the production stage. So if you have listened to my presentation a while ago, our average production is only 4 tons per hectare. So that's it. So if you invest 70,000 or 120,000 per hectare, and then you times it for the 4 tons per hectare, that's your income for the year. So probably if you start from the bearing, you have some income in that production. Uh, 4 tons to 5 tons. Kasi sa Mindanao, based sa previous studies namin, sa Mindanao, medyo malaki yung production dyan. It can produce up to 20 tons per hectare. Doon sa Mindanao area, during the time na nag-study kami about integrated cultural management for mango. Yung average na 4 tons, sa Mindanao medyo mataas yung production dyan ngayon because medyo mataba pa yung lupa dyan, bagong establish yung mga orchard, at saka maganda yung condition dyan sa Guimaras in terms of mango production. So it will vary depending on the location, but then as I have said a while ago, our average production national is 4 to 5 tons only. So if you invest 70,000, then you can really estimate how much would you get from a 1 hectare orchard with that investment of 70 to 120,000 during production stage already.
Okay, thank you so much for that. No, I know that a lot of our viewers are really curious about that, especially since we also have viewers that are beginners pa po on mango production. Now, speaking of beginners, meron po tayong Facebook user, Macros na Sean Pintak. Good afternoon po. I'm a beginner mango farmer. I need more inputs on strategy to increase productivity. We hope you give free webinars for beginners. So, asking po siya if you have po ba daw free webinars for beginners. Salamat po.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, the agricultural training have already webinars on mango production since 5 years ago. I think if you can go to their website, there are some online trainings on mango production, on integrated cultural management, on good agricultural management for good agricultural practices, I mean, for mango. You can only search in our web for those trainings that had already been conducted. But then, from time to time, we have scheduled trainings online. You can visit our Facebook page. I think it was known by the staff of the Xavier University. You can click on that, and we have some posts for some trainings that we have conducted on mango production.
I see. Thank you so much po, sir. So yes, let's especially now during the pandemic, let's no use or utilize the internet. So what sir have said, madaming mga resources and references na pwede nating makita, especially in their Facebook page nga rin. So now
Yes.
let's go to the next question po, sir. So Facebook user Joe Deal is asking po, what is the impact of the pandemic to the market, mango market, and of course mango farmers?
Yes, yes, that's a nice question, ano. Yung impact kasi, number one na nakikita namin, yung talagang negative impact ng pandemic is yung logistics. Because of the quarantine implementation of some areas, that the flow of our commodity are being hampered. So logistics is number one. But then, there is a positive, there is also a positive impact for that. The rise of yung mga yung online selling,
Yes, oo.
yung online selling, medyo yung positive side nun. So marami yung buyers na ino-online sell yung mangga natin. So I will speak based on the experience of Guimaras. Because of logistics, available logistics, yung mangga namin hindi na kinukulang for this time because medyo may way to go to Manila, and the price of mango in Manila have a good price. So medyo hindi kami masyadong namumblema, especially sa marketing. So yun lang po yung na-observe ko in terms of impact of pandemic during this mango production season.
I see. So that's still a silver lining po, no, na to have an alternative market, especially
Yes,
online. Oo, that's
yes
good
po.
to hear. At least hindi nahihirapan yung mga mango farmers din natin to sell their products.
Yeah, yeah.
So now, ay po.
Better ma'am na meron tayong mga cargo or forwarders to deliver yung product to those consumers who want to buy online.
Yes, I see. That's very good to hear. And now po, let's go to another question from Marlon Prado. So he is asking po, how many GAP certified mango farms do we have in the Philippines? And what are the efforts being done to accelerate and simplify GAP certifications?
Yes, actually I am not the authorized person to name kasi merong agency na gumagawa ng gap certification. That's the uh, PPSD, the Plant Product Safety Services Division of BPI.
Mhm,
Actually, meron silang listahan doon, or maybe we can search from the web
mhm,
for those who are GAP certified farms for mango. But then, ang alam ko, medyo kukonti pa ngayon. Kasi
mhm,
in Western Visayas, medyo wala pa kaming na-certified dito na GAP certified mango farm. So,
mhm,
I think this is the right venue to announce na pwede po tayong magpa-GAP certified sa mangga kasi yung mga institutional buyers like the SM and other institutional buyers would require GAP certification whenever we sell our product to them. So medyo importante yung GAP certification. Um, that is why medyo ano din kami, parang kayod kami for GAP certification dahil kailangan yan in the future kasi if ever we do importation, ang ibang bansa nagre-require ng GAP certification before they accept yung product na i-import natin sa kanila. So I think this is the right time to advocate to all our mango growers to let their farms certified. Pero ang regional offices kasi natin, sila po yung in charge, yung regulatory division ng Department of Agriculture natin, sila yung tumutulong doon sa local level na gustong magpag-GAP certified. So, advice lang po, sa farmers natin na gustong magpag-GAP certified, punta lang po tayo sa regulatory division ng regional field unit natin sa ating mga regions para po matulungan po tayo ng mga personnel nila for the process of GAP certification for our mango orchard. Thank you po.
Okay, see, thank you so much for that, sir. So again, to our viewers, no, to those who are curious or who wants their orchards or their farms, mango farms to be certified, so just visit your regional field office, regulatory board division. So
Yes po.
para malaman nyo yung process at yung mga requirements na kailangan nyo to be GAP certified. So again, as what Sir Yonder have said, it is very or it is advisable and very and recommended, no, to really certify your farm. So dapat sa good agricultural practices or GAP natin, because as what he said, it is what the suppliers are, or no, I mean, yes, it's what the institutions like supermarkets, SM for example, is looking for, 'di ba? So now let's go to the next question po natin, sir. So this is a question again from Facebook user Jodil. So he is asking daw po, sir, what are the diseases? Yes, diseases, but yes, diseases that affects the fruit bearing capacity of our mango trees?
Actually, maraming diseases nag-a-attack sa ating manggano from nursery up to post-harvest. So ano ba ang specific na question niya, na
Yes.
stage ng mangga?
Oh, I think gusto niya
Which,
po malaman is for mango to produce fruits po yung sinabi niya. So parang pag-produce talaga, fruiting ng mango trees. Yung
okay,
nagdi-disable, I think yung gusto niyang i-ask.
okay. So there are plenty of diseases that attacks during the fruiting stage of our mango. Number one is the scab for the developing fruits, the anthracnose from flowers, from leaves to fruits. During ripening, we are observing the anthracnose, yung itim-itim sa bunga, and then the stem and drat na parang medyo umitim din yung sa pidangkol ng fruit. So yun po yung mga diseases na umatak during sa fruit development to ripening ng mangga. So ito lang po yung masasabi ko, if we implement the good agricultural practices, the use of proper fungicide during the production stage, lahat ng ito ay medyo malilesen natin. So it boils down from the pre-production, production and post-harvest handling ng mga natin. So kailangan i-follow natin ang good agricultural practice na nire-recommend natin to assure na yung mangga natin ay malesen yung infection ng disease, especially during ripening stage. Yung nangingitim-ngitim yung bunga natin. So by way of implementing the good agricultural practice, by following the spraying schedule of our fungicide, and the proper management of our trees during pre-production, production, and post-harvest, lahat ng ito ay malilesen natin na problema.
I see. Thank you so much, sir. So yes, to our viewers, take note of that. No, it's really the production part. Dapat especially with how we handle our pest management and disease management. Also, our post-harvest practices that are important to take notes to produce high quality rin na mangoes. Now, moving on to our
Tama.
next question po. Any advice on how to rejuvenate or rehabilitate a mango tree or orchard? And then follow up daw po, how much is the cost to rejuvenate a mango orchard? This is from Sherwin Ramosa po.
Okay. Yung rejuvenation kasi based on the Cagayan de Oro Mango Symposium, may na-come up kasi na amount for the rehabilitation ng mangga. 600, 700 per tree. But then, if you compute it from location to location, it will vary. That's the average amount for the rejuvenation, the computation of the mango industry during the time of Cagayan de Oro Symposium. That's 600 to 700 pesos per tree. But then, it depends sa severity ng stand ng mangga mo. Kung medyo severe na po yung malnourishment ng mangga o marami ng activities na dapat mo implement sa mangga mo to rehabilitate, that will also add your investment doon. So, again, ang cost average is 600 to 700, but then it will vary depending on the severity or the status of your mango. So it will reach up to 1,500 to 2,000 per tree. Yung mga computations namin noon.
I see po. Thank you so much for that, sir. No? So yes, again, the cost or the price for the rehabilitation or rejuvenation also nga depends on the severity of the damage caused to your orchard or to your mango tree.
Yes po.
Mm-mm. So now let's move to the next question na po. What are the research areas that can help address the challenges of the mango industry?
Okay, research areas. Sabi ko na kanina, ang daming research areas na pwede tayong pumasok from nursery management up to post-harvest. Yung sa na-identify kanina na value chain or yung sa value analysis sa BCA, sa value chain ng mangga, no? So it depends on the need, especially local need of 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 the mango grower. So kung medyo mataas ang problema sa insect pest and diseases, doon tayo magfo-focus. Kung medyo mataas ang problema sa rehabilitation or nutrient management ng mangga, then it will focus our research studies on nutrient management. Pag cultural practices like pruning, irrigation, and other cultural management na hindi pinapractice ng farmers natin, then we will do research on that and show to our farmers that kailangan ito na practices na dapat natin i-implement sa ating mangga to assure yung good production natin. So depende, it will vary from location to location. So yun lang po ang masabi ko. Tingnan natin yung main problem sa locality natin. Then focus research on that so that our farmers can also adapt that technology and will, of course, boils down to good productivity and high income of our farmers.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. That's actually a very good point, no? And especially since our students and faculty members of different universities are watching right now, so of course they're the academics conducting researches. So yes, as what Sir Yondre have said, a necessity is the mother of invention. So, di ba? Let's try to evaluate the needs per location kasi nga iba-iba naman yung needs per location natin eh. And then
Yeah.
let's do research that will address those needs so that we can assist our farmers. So thank you so much for that, sir. No, ang ganda nung sinabi mo. Now let's go to our next question po. So somebody is asking po, are we experiencing mango supply surplus or deficiency? And if we are, what are the reasons behind the surplus or deficiency?
Okay. Our mango is what do you call this? Yung long gestation crop, a permanent crop. So pag permanent crop, there is an off and on season. So may mga year talaga na medyo mataas ang productivity nito, and then it will have an off season just to recover or replenish yung ginamit niya na mga energy during the production stage. Then the following year it will again produce more. So like our mango, it has an on and off year. So meaning, during off season or on year, medyo madami yung production. That we experience na medyo bumabaha na yung mangga sa market. But pag off year niya, medyo kukonti yung bunga natin sa market. And then of course, very seasonal kasi yung mangga natin, even though sinasabi natin na pwede natin siya pabungahin year round, but then meron talagang season na kumbaga hiyang siya sa kanyang production. So that's the summer month. Kasi yung mangga natin, very susceptible siya sa anthracnose during rainy season. Kaya medyo may nahihirapan tayo sa management. Sa bulaklak pa lang, inaatake na siya ng anthracnose pag rainy season. So pag rainy season, medyo kukonti yung production natin. That's an off season. Pag maganda yung panahon at suitable doon sa production ng mangga, that's the dry season na very suitable siya for production, medyo bumabaha yung mangga natin sa merkado. Kaya yun ang system sa fruit production. Kaya kailangan natin tingnan din po yun. So if we aim a higher price, then we will produce off season. Kasi kukunti lang yung nagpapabunga nun. Pag on season, expect po tayo na bababa yung presyo dahil madami yung nagpapabunga ng mangga. So maraming supply sa market. So yun ang po ang titingnan natin whenever na bakit meron tayong medyo mahal this month, medyo mababa this month because of the supply sa market. Ganun po.
I see. Thank you so much, sir, for clearing that up, no? And then, yes, of course, dry season, if I remember correctly, the dry season nga rin, which is maraming mangga, is also the season for people to make mango floats na rin and all. So, po.
Tama po.
Now, let's go po to our next question. This is from Rina Gaye Ragaas Bantige. So, she is asking po, sir, hello po, sir, paano po maiiwasan ang fruit flies sa mango?
Okay, fruit fly is cosmopolitan. So madaming fruit fly na kasi sa Pilipinas. So at saka maraming species po 'yun ha. Based sa study namin dito sa Guimaras, we have two species of fruit fly sa mangga. The Bactrocera philippinensis and the Bactrocera occipitalis. So dalawang species po yun based sa identification ng taxonomist from America. So, ang fruit fly kasi, nag-a-attack siya yung papuntang pahinog ang mangga or there are some cracks that was being made by some other causes. So kung nagre-release ng ethylene hormone yung bunga, that's the time na ina-attract ng fruit fly. So yung fruit fly talaga is it's there. Sa buong Pilipinas meron 'yon. So kaya yung recommendation namin, binabalot yung mangga to protect yung puncture ng fruit fly natin sa bunga. Yun po yung number one control po doon. And then of course management, fruit dropping collection, and then spraying of pesticide to control fruit fly and others. But then yung number one is clean culture. Yun po ang pinaka-recommendation namin doon na wag natin pabayaan yung bunga na nahihinog lang doon sa ilalim kasi yun ang magiging breeding ground ng fruit fly. So kung ma-break natin yung cycle ng fruit fly, wala nang fruit fly na lalabas the next time. Nare-reduce natin ang population sa field. Parang gano'n.
I see. Thank you so much for that, sir. That was a very useful advice, no? So again, to reiterate lang, again, it's clean culture. So to our audience, especially to
Yes.
the mango growers, again, don't let yung mga fruits natin na nahuhulog, napabayaan lang dyan. Let's clean, diba? Clean our mango orchards or the surroundings around our mango trees para maiwasan ang fruit fly. Now, let's go to another question from a Facebook user, Mariflor Abueva Balabat. She is asking po, how can mango industry be linked in terms of food security?
Of course, mango industry natin kasi dollar earner yon. 2.5 million farmers are engaging in our mango industry. That's 2.2% ng population natin engaged doon sa mango industry. So, at saka malaki yung kita sa mangga whenever na maganda yung management practices mo sa mangga. So that is why there are really mango growers that shine and some other mango growers that fall. Dahil doon, number one is yung technology implementation nila sa field. Kung fina-follow lang natin ang good agricultural practices na recommended for mango, we can assure that maganda din ang income natin sa mangga. Yun lang po. Thank
I
you.
see. Okay. Thank you so much for that, sir, no? And now let's move on. This is our last question kasi ang dami na palang questions ko, sir. Sorry talaga, sir. Ang
Yes,
interesting po
ma'am.
ng topic. That's why there are a lot of questions. So ito na po yung last natin. What are the government support in terms of capital, technical, and marketing to those who wants to start mango production here in Northern Mindanao daw po?
Okay, I am not from Mindanao, but then I think I recommend yung AMAS natin, puntahan natin, kasi sila yung proper agency to help us. And then of course yung DTI natin, yung Department of Trade and Industry. They have programs to help our starting entrepreneurs, especially for our mango. So, yun ang right agency na pwede nating puntahan and seek help from them. Ano na to, recommendation lang from me personally. Kasi yung mga starting entrepreneurs kasi natin, dapat kasi may knowledge tayo, 'di ba? Yung may mga feasibility study tayo na ginagawa before entering an enterprise. So yun ang gagawin natin. Seek tayo ng help doon sa mga right persons, especially our DA AMAS, and of course the Department of Trade and Industry natin. And of course, yung local government units natin, tumutulong din sila sa atin, especially sa mga beginners.
Yes, thank you so much for that, sir. Yes, so to those, to our viewers who are still starting, again, what Mr. Yondre have said, no, don't be afraid to approach your local government units and your different government agencies like DA and DTI because yeah, they can be very helpful and also they are very knowledgeable and they are the right agencies to no to address your concerns since you're still starting. And also, of course, don't forget also to have your own research, 'di ba, beforehand because yes,
Yeah.
the knowledge is very important rin. So now, sir, this is our last request din po. Could we
Okay.
ask for a closing message or from you to for our viewers, of course, because we have a lot of viewers who are students and we also have those faculty members, members of the academe, and also we have entrepreneurs and those who are farmers, mango farmers. Ano po yung message niyo sa kanila po?
Okay, to all the farmers or listening or viewing right now, the technology is there. The good agriculture practice for mango has been implemented since matagal na, medyo more than 10 years na. And what we have seen during our research activities that seldom these technologies are being implemented by farmers. So there are only one technology are being implemented in the farm, but some of the technologies are not being done in the farm, especially the pruning, the fertilization, and the irrigation. So these are the three technologies that we have seen na hindi ini-implement ng farmer sa farm niya kasi number one, si farmer hindi nagpapabunga ng mangga niya. Pinapakontract niya. So the contractors are the one dictating kung anong technology ang implement niya doon sa farm. So, siguro this time siguro I beg, no, sa ating mga mango owners, sa farm owners or sa tree owners, assert your right na kailangan pag pina pina-contract yung mangga, dapat i-fertilize nila, i-irrigate nila, and other gap technologies will be implemented in your farm before you sign the contract sa ating mga contractors. Kasi po, kawawa yung mangga natin. That is why maraming mangga natin na hindi na nagre-respond for induction kasi parang na-exhaust na lahat yung yung nutrient doon sa puno, kaya hindi na nag-respond for induction. Better for Mindanao areas kasi bago, pero in Luzon, in Visayas, medyo na yung mga mangga. Kung baga, na sila, na well used na or talagang ginamit na sila ng gusto. And without replenishing these nutrients, these other requirements that the crop need to have a good productivity. That's one advice for our mango grower. For our entrepreneurs, make a feasibility study first before you engage in the enterprise you want related to mango. So, yun lang po. Puntahan natin yung mga proper agencies that can help us para po matulungan tayo. Huwag tayong mag-invest na walang plan kasi it will fail. I tell you, kasi wala kang program, wala kang plan. So I think feasibility study first is the key. Kung gaining ba or not yung enterprise na pupuntahan mo. And then seek yung mga intellectuals natin, yung mga experts. Marami tayong experts sa DA, sa academe, and even in our local government units. Marami silang experts doon na pwedeng makatulong sa atin. For our regulators or for the government agencies, I think support lang po sa ating mga farmers and to all our enthusiasts that would like to go into mango production or mango processing or mango enterprise. Kailangan natin sila tulungan. Yun lang po at maraming salamat.